Hello and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time we go to Austria with a band that is linked to various other more known names in the scene. But this one is not first time either. It was founded in 2013 and it's Nekrodeus. And this is their third CD. And this one is curious case because it features some band members who are known for other bands such as F.D.A, Harakiri for the Sky, all known bands which have some quality music. This, however, is quite different, and the story is also peculiar because what started, according to the Metal Archives as well as this promo letter, death metal, is now something quite different. Now, here it is mentioned that they had some sludgy death metal like background and something along the way made this band to evolve something different. And this different it is because it's kind of a punk and crust and black metal. So quite far away from, the death metal thing, which sludginess. Sure, you could go for, splitting hairs and all, say, okay, there's this link to grindcore and true sludge, you get into death metal and all that stuff, but let's be honest about it, when you combine crust and black metal, the outcome is quite different than any kind of death metal, even if the roots are all the way back in the days, the punk and thrash and beyond that. But this is how the CD looks, and this is very fresh from the oven. I mean, it came out in mid-May 2025, so here it is, only a few days later after that. Here it is, Nekrodeus from Austria, and the album is Ruass. I don't know how much you can shh the S right there, but it is what it is. And the previous album was 2022 and their debut album from 2018, so has been pretty active throughout the years, even if not releasing album once a year or once or 2 years or whatever, but still. And members are here listed as 5, though I am pretty sure the promo letter mentioned something about 4-piece band of these days, but sometimes these things lag a little bit behind, especially when I'm actually doing this review prior to their release date and things might not be that updated. Here it says, however, 4 as opposed to the 5 on the Metal Archive site, so take it with a grain of salt. But comes with about 41 minutes, 11 tracks, meaning that the songs are quite short and sweet, and 3-4 minutes marker, which is very good for this kind of music. After all, this is about a kind of a punky approach to the whole thing, meaning it's like kind of a fast and aggressive, hateful and all that stuff. Not about getting emotional with your atmospheric black metal or post-black or whatever. And as such, I think they do the right job. Just, finish it off quickly enough and then move on. There are lots of things on this album which I can totally say are worth recommendation, which are worth liking, including the production, which is kind of a thin and kind of a lo-fi as opposed to a lot of bigger bands, but in this context, their somewhat necro-ish sound really supports the band in question. And of course, then you have those quite raspy, hateful vocals, which are definitely, going hand in hand with this kind of approach to the crust black metal kind of a music. Now, on the other hand, however, there are ideas where it gets a little bit off the road, meaning, the grip within the given style, and using this as figuratively speaking about it, could be a little bit better. This is not to say they are fundamentally like bad ideas or poor executions, but some of the ideas are not just on par with the overall picture of the whole game here. Meaning, while this is mostly likable and there were some really nice parts, there are also parts with kind of a little bit of filler. But I mean, obviously, that is kind of about to happen to so many bands. So overall, I would say this is definitely on the plus side of things, resulting quite a decent of an album, which is, in a way, fascinating. However, there are only so many ways you can do an interesting crust black metal release. Why so is that you're not exactly doing very punky stuff, so people who are more into punk, grindcore, pure crust and all are gonna be like, I feel left out. Black metal ain't my thing, I want to go into this hardcore punk or crust or whatever. So it's definitely dividing people into 2 categories. And also because of this hybrid nature, I would say a lot of black metal people will be saying like, yeah, it's a little bit too much on that punky and crusty side of things, whereas it could be something purely black metal. So if you would call it, based on a few snippets you're going to listen to, say it's kind of a black and roll, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I would say, however, that this doesn't really describe the whole of the album, but there are parts where you kind of get this black and roll feeling. Then again, it kind of gets more punky, and as such, black crust combination as the overall description fits the band very well. Now, when it comes to the death metal parts, because people are obviously going to ask about it, I mean, it's still mentioned on the band's Facebook site, for example, and of course here on Metal Archive site. I would say this album has pretty much 0% death metal as it is. I mean, coming as even a more long-time death metal fan than as a black metal fan, that is both for 30 plus years, I would say, yeah, it doesn't sound death metallic at all, and obviously it's not a disappointment if you just start listening to it without assuming it would be that. But if you are one of the old fans who probably have more a thing for a death metal rather than black metal, it really could be seen as a disappointment. Unless you, of course, are open-minded and don't really give a shit about genre definitions and such. But that it is how it is. I mean, if you assume you're gonna get a hamburger and you get a pizza instead, it might lead to a disappointment, even if you like both things equally. So, final verdict, pretty good. Definitely worth a listen. And, of course, links are provided in the description box. So, do what you must and see you soon with more reviews coming your way.